folks, welcome back to Total War Rome 2, and today we're going to have the Suebi up against the Nomads. Now, Sol Invictus has told me before that he thinks the Suebi are the best at countering the Nomads. Now, I'll talk through what I know, and then I'll leave it to you all in the comments to fill in anything that you think I get wrong or that I don't know. Now, the Suebi do have a lot of good spear units that have cavalry counter tactics. Most of them possess javelins. Another reason why I would say I agree that the Suebi should be good is Germanic slingers have an excellent missile block chance, and thus will make life quite miserable for horse archers, even the long-range ones, because killing Germanic slingers is obscenely difficult to begin with. There are Spear Levy and Wodenaz Spears. Wodenaz Spears are an excellent unit to bring here. They do have the higher AP damage spear. It gives 6 armor piercing. And then with cavalry counter tactics, it's going to give them a tremendous bonus versus large over short stints. What will be a downside for the Wodenaz Spears is their relative lack of armor, and their ultimately late in the game, their mass is not going to be great, but their capability to kill cavalry is high. There are Spear Wall here as well, which is another spear infantry unit. Again, cavalry counter tactics. Spear Levy are going to be one of the only units without cavalry counter tactics here, so you can see that the slingers should be able to stay safe and ward off horse archers. The Germanic scout riders provide a little bit of mobility and the ability to try and lure and bait some missiles off of the armored horse archers, so I think this is a good pick. It can pull the Nomads in closer to the formation. We're going to see multiple units of steppe horse archers here wheel up at long range, go into Cantabrian Circle, and start trying to work. And it's going to be a nice combination capability here between the Germanic slingers, which are already, getting a lot of kills out here, and then the scout riders. The scout riders did just get punched in the face there, though, by the horse archers. So yeah, but it gives the Suebi player a chance to do a little bit of bait and switch and maneuvering here, and to not just get completely caught. So let's go through the Roxolani army. There's going to be a lot of steppe horse archers over here. It looks like 6 in total. They've got 40 missile damage, though they are limited to only the 125 range. These are not going to be like the Amazonian riders. There's 2 armored horse archers here. Let's just see how armored is. It's only 35, but that's a lot more than the 10 that comes on the standard. They've got decent melee stats after the fact, too, for a horse archer. It looks like there are 3 of those. There's going to be 2 Sarmatian horsemen over here. Looks like it's calling it a medium melee cavalry. That is a really solid melee attack. A decent bonus versus large there. Not that it's going to make much difference here. And pretty decent armor at 60. That's going to be should be a solid unit. Then we come over here and look at Sarmatian Royal Lancers. The charge bonus is 80. 110 health is quite nice. Very good melee attack. Very big charge bonus. Not a lot of melee defense, though, like a typical heavy shot cavalry. Yeah, the horse archers don't have much of a choice but to get up here and try and engage. And between the scout riders and the slingers, the horse archers are taking tremendous losses, and that alone could easily undermine the chances of the Roxolani in this battle. Just because if your horse archers don't hit the value that they need to, you're going to be left with too many spears to face down. Let's go look at the general abilities here, by the way. The general is actually in a sword master. That's an interesting pick. I think you can have a Wodenaz Spear General, but I can't remember right. Maybe it's just for the extra armor and stuff to try and protect against horse archer fire. As far as the abilities, Battle Rhythm, it looks like, and Second Wind. Battle Rhythm could be good to help spear units get more kills. There is a Spear Levy out here fussing around with the light cavalry as well and helping to mop it up. Again, those slingers are a solid deterrent against the horse archers at this point. This fight is showing heavily in favor of the Suebi. Now remember, though, in the fight we watched with the Nomad factions the other day, it showed heavily in favor of the Pergamines, too, until late into the battle. And it's mostly because we're seeing a lot of units from the Roxolani die, and not near as many units from the Suebi dying. It is possible that the rest of the Suebi have decent missile block chances, too, which could also make them effective in this fight. I don't really know what the missile block chance is for the rest of the infantry, but I know it is something ludicrous, like 80% or something of the Germanic slingers. It's probably something that should have been patched, but it wasn't, and so it just becomes one of those quirky abilities that the Suebi maintain, which is they don't typically look like a really decent skirmishing faction, but they can be in the right scenario. I love the combination of scout riders with those slingers. It makes for an almost no-win situation. for the Roxolani horse archers. Because the slingers will trade just fine into here, and any shots coming in from the horse archers can't reach the slingers, and are just doing superficial damage to the spear wall. The spear wall's got 60 armor. I don't know how these striped pajamas give these guys armor. Maybe it just comes from the shield, and again, maybe their shield is quite good. I believe the shield plays into some of the armor value, so not 100% certain there. Yeah, so far the Suebi are doing excellent here. Like, they don't have much to worry about. The Sarmatian horsemen strayed too close and got a face full of javelins, and this is a real challenge for the players playing the hordes. So when you did see that victory against Pergamon and the other one, it's tricky because little things like that can lose you the battle, and it takes a lot of micromanagement. It is not easy to use your horse archers properly and to make sure you don't, fall into any mistakes. See these pushes? The Suebi will put together little pushes here and pressure. It looks like the horse archers are venturing up very close here, and this is risky because the javelins then start to come into play. Now, again, may be intentional to come use these horse archers to try and draw some javelins off of one of these flanks to try and eventually lead the way for the heavier cavalry. Here comes the Sarmatian horseman. Oh, eating a face full there from the spear levy. They took a lot of hit point damage there, regardless of not really taking a whole lot of entity losses. So yeah, this is a rough fight for the Roxolani. This is a tough one. It's not an easy fight. In fact, I really don't know a great way of dealing with this Suebi slingers. Someone had mentioned in the chat that the Nomad factions would be a lot better if they got access to like young axes, step spears, and foot archers. I agree that should be the case. They should add those because it would make them at least be able to have a little more dynamics in multiplayer. They would still be a horde faction. Those infantry are terrible, but with nothing in that regard, the Nomad factions become relatively easy to counter because you basically just prepare everything against the horses. And that makes it a little too easy to prepare for, I think, in a way, because there's really only one viable option with the Steppe factions, which is to just do your damage with the horse archers, come rolling in late, and hope that you can clean everything up. That's the only way it's going to work. The noble horse archers, where the general is at, is taking a little bit of fire right now, and there's just not enough damage being done to the Suebi. And these Germanic scout riders are decent in melee too. When they catch these horse archers, they'll do a little bit of damage. Now, those ones are going to get mopped up, but an excellent job by the Germanic scout riders overall. I feel like that they were very much worth it. A lot of Cantabrian Circle used here to try and reduce casualties. I believe it also increases the reload of the horse archer units. But it's just, I mean, look at this, 90 still on the slingers, 90. 46 on this unit, so they did get a little bit of damage done to one of the slingers, but all the damage they do to the slingers also means that they didn't damage the infantry that's there with the slingers, and the infantry is very much a problem at this point too. The Sarmatian Royal Lancers are making a charge here, but look at this, the spear levy coming up instead. That is not what you want to see. Oh, that spear wall got a javelin volley off there too. Nicely dodged though by the Roxolani. Here comes the counter charge, another nice counter charge here by the Roxolani. Well done. The Suebi general's coming up to support. There comes some cavalry counter tactics, so the Roxolani have to pull out near immediately here. But well done there, get some damage done. Wodenaz spears came in to reinforce. The Roxolani definitely want to get away from the Wodenaz. 45 kills on one Lancer, 53 on another, so some pretty painful charges. The bowfire is continuing at the moment, though the general here is taking a beating. Remember, slingers have decent AP, especially compared to archers. These Germanic slingers are going to really chip away through that armor over time. So the Roxolani are in deep crap here, and this Royal Lancer is already getting shredded by a Wodenaz spear. That thing's got 33 kills. There's 11 on that one, 7 on that. Yeah, I mean, this is, woof. Wodenaz spears are incredibly good against cavalry if they can not just get bluntly charged to death. See here, there's enough units supporting. Brutal charges coming in from those Lancers. They hit hard, no doubt about it. But those Wodenaz spears are definitely going to chip away at those cavalry as they retreat. And then there's the javelins too that come into play. you can see just how tough those Sarmatian Royal Lancers are. They are very strong units. Now, the formation is kind of breaking up for the Suebi here. The Roxolani are going to have to try and look for opportunities, but I don't know. I don't think they have the horsepower, pun intended, to get this done. Here comes some Germanic slingers charging in now that they're out of ammunition, presumably. And so we're just getting into a big brawl here. The Wodenaz Spears chasing down the Royal Lancers aggressively. The Noble Horse Archer General is going to get caught here. There's more Wodenaz Spears coming in to intercept that Royal Lancer as well. And the horses are just being cut to ribbons by the Suebi here. So when the Horse Archers are not able to be effective, the rest of the only one real strategy that the Nomads have falls apart. And the Suebi can effectively neutralize the Horse Archers with the Germanic Slingers. So, in my opinion, that's going to be why I believe Sol was trying to say that he feels Suebi are the best countered Nomads, and I think I would agree. They just have the right tools. And that tool is mainly the Germanic Slinger, but the availability of good spears that can quickly deal with cavalry, and some of which can even deal with armor rather effectively, like the Wodenaz. Now, the General being in the Swordmaster, again, I'm guessing that's just for the defense and the armor to make him more survivable. Because Wodenaz Spears are a medium unit and a little more prone to missile fire. So the Roxolani are going to continue to try here, which is great to see that effort come in, despite the very challenging situation that they're left in. And it is a challenging situation, make no mistake about it. So yeah, we're going to continue to see fire poured in here by the Roxolani in an attempt to win, but it is really only just kind of a matter of time here before they are ground out and the army losses take hold, and that's exactly what happened right there. The army losses took hold. So a very solid victory for the Suebi here over the Nomads, and the Nomads were controlled by a good player here. So we'll go take a look. This is Hotel Soap. He sends me replays as well. He is definitely a solid player. I see a lot of you send messages be like, man, if someone could challenge Sol. So these players do challenge Sol. Remember that when he sends me replays, you don't always just send the replays you lose on just to, mix it in. When you do send a losing replay for people, they usually want to put it up there because it's a good one, or they learned a lesson from it, and sometimes it is that they just want to surprise you. But for some of those folks that may not, these are good players that he's playing against. And you remember that sometimes you can make mistakes and other things that may sometimes give the impression that, oh, maybe that player wasn't as good. This is a tough battle. This is a hard matchup here. Probably the hardest matchup for the Nomads because of what we just described. So well done to Hotel Soap. That is not easy. He did manage to get through a little over half of the Suebi army, but not going to be enough to carry him to victory. The Nomads in general, in fact, let's bounce out of here real quick and go to a custom battle. We'll pull up the Roxolani as an example. What people were saying as far as what should be added, there needs to be a couple of units added. Young Axes, Steppe Spearmen, and like a Foot Archer unit. 150 range Foot Archer unit. And that changes the game for the Nomads and makes them a lot more fun to play, in my opinion. Maybe there's someone who can mod that in. And then we could see some replays of people using the mods to show what kind of difference it makes for them. But in any case, yeah, that's what makes the Nomads easy to predict. When something's easy to predict, it is thus easy to counter. And so it makes them tricky to play. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll be back with some more battles soon. Hope you enjoyed it.